After all this time, we already know that 2025 was the year when the SEC changed everything. The US crypto market is waking up now that we have a professional crypto administrator in charge. I really believe that the whole economy is starting to understand how to use crypto technology in every single process and how to use digital assets, safe coins, and even the networks themselves to change the way finance works. I also think that 2025 will be remembered as the year when everything changed for crypto. We also need to pay attention to what the SEC is still doing as we really look at that, right? We already knew in the middle of the month that Paul Atkins had been talking a lot about and getting behind crypto. On August 15th, he did say that he would be on Fox Business's Mornings with Maria to talk about the SEC's Project Crypto and other work that the SEC is doing to help U.S. businesses grow, protect investors, and even make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. We've known for a while that this place is the crypto heart of the world. I believe the first time we heard about it was in November. After that, it was all of December and the whole year of 2025. Everyone keeps telling them, oh, well, it's not going to happen. All of that is just a promise that won't be kept. But the thing is, I think that everything that has happened so far in 2025 is proof that every part of the government and every organization that works with the government is trying to make this happen. Now that we think about it, we also think back to July 31st, because that's when Paul Atkins made his announcement. Thank you, A1 Policy, for having me here today to talk about Project Crypto. This will be the SEC's main goal in helping the president make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. In the history of our markets, we are about to enter a new age. Project Crypto is an effort by the whole commission to bring the rules and laws about stocks up to date so that the American financial markets can move on chain. Also, is this the big update? In that way, that's the big change from the SEC to, hey, guess what? We're making sure everything works with a chain. We've reached a point in crypto where the SEC, which has been against crypto for years, is now saying, hey, guess what? Our team will do everything possible to bring the stock markets up to date so they can be moved on chain. It's crazy to think about that. The PWG report, which was put out by the president's working group, makes it clear that the SEC and other government agencies need to build a framework to keep the U.S. ahead in the crypto asset markets. This study lays out how the United States can become a leader in blockchain and crypto technology. The United States will continue to be the best place in the world to start a business, work on cutting-edge technologies, and trade on the capital markets thanks to Project Crypto. First, we will work to bring payments of crypto assets back to the United States in line with the PWG report. Setting up as quickly as possible a regulatory system for the distribution of crypto assets in the United States will be one of my top priorities. Second, in order to help the president reach his goals, the SEC is responsible for making sure that market participants have as many options as possible when they are picking where to store and sell crypto assets. Third, one of my main goals is to let people in the market come up with new ideas using super apps. Fourth, I told the commission staff to update old agency jobs and rules so that on-chain software systems can fully use their potential in our stock markets. Finally, the American economy is powered by new ideas and entrepreneurs. Under my leadership, the president has said that America is a country of builders. With less red tape and one-size-fits-all rules, the SEC will support the makers in our country. I'm excited to work with my colleagues across the government. This is crazy coming from the head of the SEC. Now, let's think about that. In this interview that was just released yesterday, SEC Chair Paul Atkins said that all of the agency's divisions are working together to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. The video is here. Paul Atkins, chair of the SEC, says that the world should use American technology. Also, a big thank you to Bank XRP for this. Our goal is to make the United States the world's crypto capital. Report on the Digital Assets Project from the President's Working Group, the Crypto Genius Act, and other bills that are coming up. Look it over. So, the government put out the report from the President's Working Group on digital assets in the U.S. a couple of weeks ago. It was made clear that the SEC was a part of the PWG, the President's Working Group, and that we should move forward and help make America the crypto capital of the world, as the President has said he wants to do. He wants the world to run on American technology. At the SEC, all of our different divisions and offices are working together to make that statement come true. The same goes for our corporate financial department, investment management, and other departments. Today, we're thinking about what we can do to make sure that the SEC's rules cover crypto assets and give people some peace of mind for the future. Congress and we are working together. We obviously passed the Genius Act a few weeks ago after the president made a big deal about it at the White House and signed it. I thought that was a great step forward. There are also other bills being thought about in Congress right now, and I'm looking forward to a lot more progress when they get back from break. When we think about all of these changes, I would say that now is the best time to be in crypto because the markets will continue to open up in a big way. Why? And it's not just because the SEC says so. No, it's the fact that everyone in the United States is now on board with crypto. Crypto has already had a crazy year. I found this post that tells you everything, right? You're telling me that the Great Act has already happened in 2025. Draft of the Clarity Act, the Crypto Task Force, Rescindent SAB 121, the Epic Games decision, and the opening of 401ks to crypto. Finally, the US is about to begin collecting Bitcoin as a long-term backup. That being said, many people said they wouldn't buy it at all. But we have here from Scott Bissett that the Treasury is also committed to looking into ways to buy more Bitcoin that won't hurt the budget in order to increase the balance. In other words, it means they want to buy more Bitcoin without spending any extra money. Let us see what takes place here. However, the fact that they are already making plans for this tells us everything we need to know. Okay? But the most interesting thing is that I want you to understand what this means for projects like XRP and companies like Ripple. Because, we keep coming back to this idea of American-made technology. Based on CoinMarketCap, we know that XRP is the biggest coin made in the United States. Ripple is also an American company. It couldn't be a better time for Ripple and XRP, especially since the SEC just finished its case against Ripple. Also, if all of these groups are working together to make the US the crypto capital of the world, shouldn't we be seeing some pretty big changes already? Yes, we are. In fact, the Federal Reserve announced the same day we got this speech that it would end its program to supervise new activities at banks and instead use the usual supervision process to continue to watch over these activities. This is really big, guys. This is a very important update because the new AC Activity supervision tool was a big part of what made Operation Choke Point 2.0 possible. One bank lawyer told me that this is another piece of the puzzle, even though the Fed hasn't taken back all of I. It makes me think of what we've been hearing and seeing from all of these big banks and other financial institutions that want to allow crypto. We already know that the Federal Reserve told banks they could use cryptocurrency. Also, in March of this year, U.S. banks were given the go-ahead to accept crypto. The OCC, which is the U.S. Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, has said that national banks can do crypto-related things like safekeeping, stablecoins, and blockchain networks. The regulator is getting rid of its old rule that said banks had to get permission first before getting into crypto. This is a big change. Banks no longer need a clearance slip, they just need strong controls. Also, the FDIC in March. The FDIC has made it easy for banks to do things that have to do with crypto. This is one of the best ways to get more people to use crypto. All of this fits with what we just saw from Paul Atkins. Now that we think about it, how, why? Let's put the puzzle pieces together, shall we? Trump and even his son Eric have said that the banking business is broken. The money system as a whole is broken. How can we make it better? Okay, all of the big banks are good to go. There is no reason why crypto shouldn't be used or adopted. We like stablecoins. We already know that Scott Bessent has been fully on board with fixed coins. Stablecoins have been liked by this manager since the start of the year. All of these things are basically being adopted, or maybe I should say adopted. They have been given the green light to be accepted at the same time that things are beginning to move. To clear the way for all of this technology to be used, we already have almost everything we need to make it easier and faster for people in the US to use crypto technology. There are still some things we need to do. The most important thing is that Clarity A, CT, right? That's the last big step. But the US is so close to adding crypto to its banking system that it's crazy. There aren't many people who know how close we are to that big crypto moment. 2505 has been a crazy year, but everything is beginning to change. Things are beginning to change. I want to use Paul Atkins' words because I agree with them, right? It's not just a change in the rules. It's a chance for all generations. I could say the same thing about the retail business. We don't just have a class of assets worth nearly $4 trillion in front of us. We don't just have an asset class that we think might get bigger in the future. Not at all. We know for sure that crypto will become much bigger. Here is a once-in-a-lifetime chance for regular people to get in on the ground floor before rules affect this market, all the big banks, and the world's biggest economy, to actually build the technology in as well. Think about it. What do you think will happen to the prices of these assets when they are fully integrated into the world's largest economy and all banks use these networks as part of their tech stack? ISO 2022 tells banks they have to work together